Hey, you guys, welcome back to Hospitality Queens with your favorite two hospitality gurus. I'm Erin,
What up? It's Whitney.
and welcome back to another episode. Thank you guys so much for listening and subscribing. And if you haven't already, head over to YouTube, type us in there, Hospitality Queens Podcast. We're going to pop right up. Go ahead, hit that notification bell, subscribe, all the great things so you can see our beautiful faces as we talk to you today.
Period. Period, poo. And we're mocktailing today. Um, my grandma got these sparkling waters. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I've never seen this before.
No. Mm-mm.
But it's a basil berry. That's the flavor. Zero sugar, 0 calories. So it's a sparkling water with real basil extract.
Love that.
So I have this, and then I added it with this. I've never really drank these, I feel. Don't really like it. The flavor's really bland, but it scanned good on the Yuka app. So I pretty much just added, as you can see, a little bit of this and the sparkling water. And then I just added lemon, and it's really good. I can really taste the basil. It's really good.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds delish. I thought about
Yeah.
basil today actually too, but I'm loving the berry
Mm-hmm.
vibe. I
Mm-hmm.
have a little bit of the berry asahi. It's a I forgot the name. It's like a good something. I'll probably look it up. But it's like a
Mm-hmm.
probiotic berry asahi drink that I got from Whole Foods. It's on sale right now, two for $5.40, which I definitely recommend.
Mm-hmm.
It's a prebiotics and a probiotic. So I did a little bit of coconut water as well, and then a little bit of pineapple juice. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's a nice, refreshing little mocktail.
Yeah, I'm here for the mocktails. Mocktails be
Hmm.
given.
Yeah, it's nice. It's
Um,
so hot. So everything to stay hydrated is a must.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And I feel like that's what it's coming from. It's like it's so hot outside. Like, I mean, when you're in the mood for drinking, drinking is great, but you need to keep the hydration going because it's a beast. It's a beast for sure.
Very
Mm,
true.
that's really fire.
I love
I
it.
really didn't have hopes in this thing. Aura Bora. That's a cute name. That's
Yeah.
good. That's giving. It's giving what it needs to give. Do you have affirmation for today?
It's kind of just a little tip type of vibe. We do
Mm,
record, on Mondays, so it's really the beginning of the week, so it's just a really good hard reset.
mm-hmm.
And I found this thing, it's work-life balance should not be the bar that we are striving for. Living with integrity, prioritizing self-care, value, and creativity, so we may lead with that integrity in all facets of how we maneuver in this world. This is a higher ideal that births greater outcome for us all. And I just like that. Like, we always work
Period.
to have that work life balance or self care and things in that nature. And sometimes you can just create those balances within your life. And so it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to be so planned and strategic to have self care if you just try to, have a balance in your everyday life. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yep. Period. I saw this thing. There was this long post, and it's an inspirational thing. But out of that, I loved that her main message is just be prepared for everything new. Like you may seem like it's not coming all together, or your back's against the wall, but just be prepared and be open for everything new, and for those good things to happen. Sometimes we can feel like it's too good to be true, or that could not happen, or whatever, but be prepared and have that mindset to know that it's going to happen and it'll come to you. So I'm prepared for everything new. Period.
Yes, love it.
Period.
Preparation is key. And
Mm-hmm.
openness. Preparation is just
Mm-hmm.
another form of being open, open to receive, opening your chakras just to like be aligned with yourself. So, if you guys are
Mm-hmm.
struggling with anything, find a way to prepare yourself as best as you can, even if that's just having a positive attitude. Period.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to
Mm-hmm.
be materialistic all the time. It could just be
Mm-hmm.
just a thought.
Mm-hmm.
Free 99.
Mm-hmm. Big facts. It's so funny, like the all of the reasons why like I would never want to be a restaurant manager, or like I don't want to say like slapping me in the face, but it's just like coming to front. It's just like it's like managing people, right? Like
Mhm.
managing
Mhm.
people, seeing like really seeing their like work ethic and like how people really work. Like
Mhm.
it's really, and sometimes it could just be like mind boggling because a lot of times I'm just like, is it me? Like, am I the one that's tripping? Or like, how do people just make up, like people who worked at my job for like 6 months, they just like, something goes off and they decide, I'm just going to start doing something like this. Even though these are, I know these are the rules, I'm just going to like decide that this is the way I want to do it today. And that's just what it is. And I don't know, it's just really, really frustrating. Um, to manage grown like adults, 20s, 30s. I don't think it matters, but it's just very interesting the way people think and how people work. But um, I've had like, I don't want to say like come to Jesus moments, but I had to do like an all staff meeting yesterday. And it was really like, I'm never going to be disrespectful, but I'm going to be direct. Like, and I've given warnings of like, all right, y'all, like, I'm being light. These are the rules. I'm expecting y'all to follow. If we don't follow, we're going to get a different management style. That's it. So, different management style has been unlocked. But um, it's just like the battle of people who they've seen you for so long one way, so now you're their manager, so it's hard. And I get it, but I don't, because it really comes down to like just having simple respect for somebody. And that's, you're showing me that you have none. And that's a problem, right? So for example, like it rained this weekend, and when it rains, obviously we can't sit outside. We had a full patio, so we have to move our people inside and upstairs. We had two back to back private parties yesterday, or not yesterday, on Saturday. And like right after I was helping clean and reset the table from one, it started raining. So and it was perfect timing. So all those tables who are outside can now come inside. So for me to help my servers who are drenched wet because they've been getting like doing all the things, getting their tables inside and all that, so they don't have to, since they've already done all the extra work and there's a kitchen upstairs, we can send the food to the upstairs kitchen. The guys in the upstairs kitchen are upset and they say there's going to be too much work on them. And they're literally going back and forth to me, telling me they don't want to do it. And I'm just like, I don't understand. There's no back and forth. I like what I say is like what I say. Like, yes, it's harder. It's going to be more work for you, but there's more work for them. There's more work for everybody. It's not like you're getting more work and we're just like sitting around having fun and laughing. Like, if you're busy, we're all busy. It's a group effort, it's teamwork. Like, we have to work together to make sure everyone here is having a good time. It's not about what you want to do. I would love to be in Mexico, but I'm here, like, doing my job. Like, we have, like, I
Mhm.
just, so don't understand. So from that, it goes to going to everyone, and it's like spreading negative energy of, I don't want to do this. And now there's a whole negative damper on the whole restaurant. People have bad attitudes and they're scared of people because they're in a bad attitude and they're being a-hole and all that stuff. And it's like, it's toxic. Like, why are we doing this? And our job is to be here to cook the food when people come in. Like, you know? So in my meeting, I had someone read our mission statement. It was a part of our test, our menu test that we just had. Had her read the menu statement in front of everybody. I said, we applied, we got hired, and we choose to come here every day. So, like, if we have a situation like this or whatever, and I come to you and I say, this is what it is, and the servers are going to send the food here, I expect to hear heard. Do you know how many covers we're going to have so we can be prepared for what we're about to get? Cool. And we keep it moving and we keep it going because we are a team. We're supposed to work together. The all the negative stuff and all the yapping and that happens doesn't align with our mission statement. So if that's a problem and you feel like you can't do that, there's a door there we have a garage door. Like, you don't have to come here, but you choose to. Like, I had to be really like, this is what it is. I'm like, I am the manager. If you have a problem with me being the manager, door, door, door. Like I was not playing with them, and I told them like I'm going to be on you for my front of house people. Like I'm going to be on y'all. Like full hands in, full hands out. They don't do it. They just walk by food, walk by drinks if it's not theirs. Like I have the kitchen
Mhm.
staff telling me all the time, like they're walking by food. They're not, when we say hands, they're just, I'm like, this is the stuff that I'm telling them that we have to focus on every pre-shift, everyone's like, yep, nodding their head, but when it's time, like when we in the field, they don't do it. So it's like, what's up? So now I'm on you. Hey, go back and get those plates. Like, hey, can you run this food? Can you pause that? Can we stop talking? And like, it's not, everyone thinks it's a social hour and it's so fun. It's like, no,
Mhm.
that's for after work. Like, we can have fun and we can do that, but we can't neglect the food and the drinks and all those things to like talk to the hostess. Like, no, it was so funny. I was in the office and I saw this girl with cameras, and I saw this girl talking with hot food in her hand, going like she's supposed to be going upstairs to run the food, and she's has the food on the tray, talking to the hostess. Like, it's just like, to me, it just doesn't make sense. Like, but everyone else, and when I say something, they're just like looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, am I crazy for like wanting y'all to take the hot food to the? And then when the guests are mad because they have cold food, y'all are gonna go to the kitchen and blame the kitchen. But in actuality, no one knows that you stopped and talked at the host stand for 2 to 3 minutes with their hot food.
Right.
So it's just a balance. It's just all of those things, and like just really seeing it, because I've worked with these people, but I've never had to see them in this like in this light, and it's like, wow. Like it's a
Yeah.
lot. It is a lot to
Yeah.
manage people, and the respect, and that all of like the ebbs and flows. But I don't know. They the only choice they have to do is to like do their job properly, and it's not hard, or just not work there. And I feel like I keep saying, like, I don't want to sound harsh, but I feel like those are the options. Like, we have to improve, like, on the things we need to improve on. This is going to help you make more money, help you. But if not, I'm sure there's a restaurant somewhere where that standard is okay. This just isn't the one.
Yeah. That's true. I think in management and managing people, you also have to realize the foundation that it was built on. So just
Hmm.
because we may feel like we all think that people's integrity and work ethics and vibe should always be good. I am like a sole believer, and I really went through a big struggle when I started having like a big team to manage, because
Hmm.
I couldn't understand why they were just not doing basic common sense things. Like I struggled with that because it was frustrating, and it made me frustrated because it's just like, come on. However, in that, I did learn, that everyone is very different, and that is the importance of having leadership. That is the importance of having someone as a like just like a teacher, right? The teacher has to teach and be on people constantly for them to do their
Hmm.
job, and that's is exactly what leadership is. And if they're going if they knew that they can get away with it before, just because
Hmm.
there's a new sheriff in town doesn't mean that they're not going to continue to do it. That's just, it's already
Hmm.
something they've built in their brain cells. So I think one things I had to I had to like pretty much reteach in my standards, which is time consuming and a little frustrating. But like I would literally like have like focuses each week, meetings each week, and show them exactly what I'm talking about, and like work alongside them sometimes, and push the envelope. But that's sometimes that's like, unfortunately, instead of like just always progressing, you got to do a lot of like coaching and
Hmm.
reminding, a lot of coaching and reminding, because they don't really care. Like you care
Hmm.
because you have a title that it represents you, but they don't care because that's just not what they're in it for. They're just here for the money, and they don't really care. They just don't care. So it's like,
Hmm.
how can someone focus on something they don't care about? They can't. But then you can find new people that will. It's just
Hmm.
finding. It's just
Hmm.
that. They gotta weed their way out
Yeah.
eventually, and get the seed out. So eventually, it
Mhm.
will like be the team that you built.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, until that time, it's and that's what people don't realize. It's like you have to just like do what you're paid to do. But some people are just they're just not cut like that. They
Yeah.
just don't care. There's actually a lot of those people. I don't know how
Mhm.
they
And
do it.
there
I'm
are
not like that. So I
Yeah,
don't
there
know how
are
they do it.
people that have improved. Like we've had like private conversations, and we tell like
Mhm.
because all of these things have already been private conversations that, and we have a plan. We're going to improve. Like all of those things have been in place, and there are servers who have improved, and I use
Mhm.
them as examples. Like I always say goods to them, like because the thing at our job is like people. If you aren't pulling away, da da da, people will be like they're very vocal. Like,
Mhm.
hey, I'm always having to do her stuff. Her tables always come like, they're very vocal about who is like, whatever. So, because sometimes you don't always see everything. You're not always there for
Mhm.
those shifts and stuff like that. So they'll come and tell me. So we have conversations and we start paying more attention or like to those things and whatever. And then there's people who do improve and all that stuff. So like that's like you said, there's people who do care to improve because their job means something to them, whatever. And there's some people who just like you can tell that in past jobs, saying sorry and excuse and having an excuse for everything was acceptable, like was worked. Because some of these people
Mhm.
are like kind of newer or worked maybe like really slow shifts or stuff like that. So or worked with really strong people, so it's kind of easy to like blend in. And it's like when those strong people are not working, it's like oh okay, so you don't really be like doing anything. So
Mhm.
it's really interesting. But yeah, I have the my servers who are like really strong at different things. Next week we're starting like workshops like that, like how to properly hold plates, like multiple, like so you do bigger carries and like multitasking, and how to, even if you do get flat sat, like how to pace yourself, and like how like so we're we're working on it. So
Yeah.
it should be fun
Yes,
to
life is a
see our
work in
progress.
progress. Yeah, I think
Hmm.
that's the beauty. It's just like everything's going to be a work in progress, and that's about building a team. Like there's no I in team, but teams building doesn't take. It's not an overnight thing. I think it's the initiative to care, and that goes a
Hmm.
long way. So,
Yep.
shout out to the people that care. If you guys are in management and you struggle with, connecting with your employers or employees, and whatever that may mean, like how do you handle overcoming, what you're struggling with? Like how do you guys
Hmm.
have problem resolution, or like what happens if you're stagnant, if you're not getting support? Like how do you guys handle receiving support for yourself? Because at the end of the day, manager needs support as well on the back end,
Hmm.
from the day to day. So would love to hear you guys' thoughts. You guys can email us or slide in the DMs or drop a comment below on how you handle getting support and being that support for your team.
Period.
Yes, good old way of the land.
Hmm.
People are gonna be people
Hmm.
in
Yeah.
every fashion. And so
Hmm.
um I had a job where one of their things they always say is like, we're in the people business. And I'm like, ooh,
Hmm.
that's an intense thing to say, I'm in the people business. However, it would make sense because people's actions was defining our success and our revenue.
Hmm.
It was a staffing agency, so we had so many different job opportunities, but if people didn't show up, our clients you know, lacked certainty of what we could do for them because of someone
Right.
else's actions. Not that we didn't have control over if someone showed up with a bad day or showed up in the
Hmm.
wrong uniform or things of that nature. And the downfall of that is because you can't be everywhere at one time. I have an event in Montana, I have an event in Dallas, I have an event in Vegas. Like I can't be
Hmm.
there all at one time. And then sometimes the client doesn't pay enough so I can bring leadership.
Right.
So it's like I can talk to them all day. I can coach them through it. I can remind them of great, healthy things all day. But it was up to the client to also set the tone. You know, you have to set the tone for whatever it is that you're doing, regardless if you hire somebody to do the job or not. Like if I hired you to do
Mm-hmm.
the job, I do need to show you how I
Mm-hmm.
want it done, and not expect you to just do it the way I want you to do it. So
Mm-hmm.
I really failed in a lot of those ways when staffing and someone wanted to call in or didn't want to show up or something would go wrong and it would just turn everything around in our workplace. So now I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting it from the client, which it's like, well, ultimately, you know, you hired us to help you, but now that like goes out the window because now you don't
Right.
feel like we're helping you because you're short staffed now. So now everything trickled down to me because someone decided at 4 a.m. they wanted to call out and their shift is at 7. And there's nothing
Mm-hmm.
you could do about it, you know, besides try to find a replacement. And so many times there was not a replacement. I would say like one of these particular agencies, it was just like the percentage rate of like getting people back there was just like maybe 50-ish%. But then when COVID happened, like nobody was going. So it was like a 20%, you know, like it was just weird. So but to it was a very disappointing job for me as a leader, and I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have the support. So what
Mm-hmm.
ended up happening to me is my leadership style really took a toll because I didn't have what I needed to be
Mm-hmm.
able to continue to support because I was so disappointed and so drained of being disappointed, someone disappointing me, and all the pressure of it all. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I asked, like, what kind of support do you get? Because there are jobs out there, like, where you may not have the support and you're just getting beat up
Yeah.
every day because of
Mm-hmm.
your employees' stuff. Like, you've tried to make the change, you've tried to connect, but you can't be in front of them. I think that was probably one of the hardest things I ever done. Like, how do you manage people that you don't get to have a
See.
communication?
Yeah.
You don't see them. You may
Mm-hmm.
not ever meet them in person, to be honest. You may not never have like all you get, you're a call away. You know, you may not never see their face for real. So how can you manage someone through a digital or world? So
Tough.
it is very tough. It's still something that um it's still really hard. I worked with another agency after that doing the same thing. Their foundation was better though. So it was instantly better just because of how they did their business, and they made their employees want to feel a little bit of value. So that was helpful. But still, you
Mm-hmm.
know, people still do what they do, but it was definitely a lot better
Yeah.
with the
Yep.
foundation for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the foundation for me, cause,
It is.
and I feel like that's what it
So,
is. Trying to. It's not because it's so weird, and it's not weird. It's like when, of course, when like the owners of the restaurant are there, everyone is like the people who are like the problem children
mm-hmm.
are act like angels, you
Right.
know? So, but it's when they're not there, it's like, oh, they want to act like they're the boss and they're like this or that, or they're extremely mean or rude or disrespectful to people. So it's like, you know how to act. Just be consistent with that act, regardless of who's here or who you think is here. Um, but I just feel like it shows a lot about someone's character too. You know, if you're like, if you can just instant like just flip flop like that,
Mm-hmm.
something ain't right. You know, like why can't you just be a good person? Like, you know, just consistently be a good person. Why does it have to be when the person who's like personally signed your paychecks is there? Like,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not like they're not going to find out. You know, so it don't make no sense. You
Yeah.
were
I
talking
mean,
about when you were said something about your the job that you just had, and I remember that job like I freaking worked there. But when you said dress code, it made me think about that lady. Was it the red shirt? It was one. It was some shirt that you were looking. You had to find a shirt for her.
oh yeah,
Remember?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we
Yeah, the
had
red
a
shirt.
dress code issue this weekend too, and our hosts don't have like a uniform. They just can wear like business casual, kind of loose on the
Mm-hmm.
business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel like it's tricky because it can give, it's just like a fine line between appropriate and inappropriate. So, we like had this girl and she always dresses like according to the dress code, but this weekend she came in like cut off shorts and like a cut off tee, like in like some Converse. Like she looked like she was going to like Walmart or something. Like I don't know, like not work. Like
Mm-hmm.
everyone said something about it. They all like double took, like a double take. Like who is she? Doesn't even look like she's working. Like especially not the first person that when you come to a restaurant, this is not the vibe of a restaurant or like any of that. So at the end of the shift, like, I just talked to her personally about it. And she was just so like nonchalant about it. She's like, oh yeah, I'm moving and all my work stuff is like in boxes. And I'm like, okay, like I understand that. I've moved quite a few times, but it's just one of those things of like setting aside a few fits for work, like because your schedule is coming
Mm-hmm.
up or whatever. But I get it. But just keep it in mind for your upcoming shifts. But it's just like you can't. She looked like she just I don't know. It was just very very weird. But it's like people are people, and they don't just like you said. They don't think like you would or process that you need to look professional when you come to work. Period.
Yeah, it's like, in their mind, it's a thing, but the lack of care makes it not a thing. And so,
Mm-hmm.
and I've had a lot of dress code issues, like a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. Like I wish that I didn't have to have that. But I mean, it came to the point where, like, we would send a reminder text like every day, even same day of your same shift, and we would
Mm.
spell everything out: black, button down, dress, shirt, ironed, tucked in, black, dress pants, slacks, not faded, not holes, no
Oh
rips,
my God.
makes no skinny jeans, all solid black shoes, no white, no logos. Da, da, da. Like we would have to really spell it out, and like they would say like you have to spell it out, and even then when you spell it out and probably send it to them in like 2 to 3 different ways, so it's on our
They
app
don't read
where you
it.
could look it up, you text it to them the day before, you text them again, and you got an email. They don't even read it. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I mean, I saw all black, but I mean, this is all I have. Or they'll be like, this is all I have. And it's like, well, and then so there's a couple different ways you could do it depending on what I needed at the time. And some places I was like, okay, cool. Well, you may not just get to do the really awesome role that you could have done. I'm gonna have to put you over here instead because of how you look. So you're like getting to do something that's not as fun because you look like crap.
Mm-hmm.
Or it'd be like if I didn't need you, I'll send you home, or I'll be like, hey, would you like to go to the store to go get some and then come back? Or like, we
Mm-hmm.
would it would be like send home, don't work at all. It got to the point where sometimes I would overstaff so I could send people home to make an example of them
Mm-hmm.
because they weren't doing what was needed to be done. Or say, hey, you can go to the store. Or we started like buying certain things to have on site. So it's like, okay, well, you can buy this now. So you have what you need. So it was such a thing. But I think, once again, sometimes with the uniform, I could kind of understand and relate because some uniform pieces did add up. And it's
Right.
like when you're investing a lot of money into a uniform before you make the money, you're just trying to get a job to make
That's
money.
tough.
It's
Yeah.
like it's a really hard balance. I truly
Mm-hmm.
believe that employers should provide
Yep.
something, and if it
Mm-hmm.
becomes where they need a whole bunch of outfits, then you as a company need to say, give them, like, let them have a way to start off small in those events where they
Mm-hmm.
can only, so they don't have to spend a lot of money on to
Mm-hmm.
work it, because I find that it was just inhuman. I didn't like it. So it's like I'm a big believer of like if it doesn't sit well with me, I need to really
Yeah.
reassess it, because like what is that? And who wants to spend a whole bunch of money on uniform pieces?
Yep. I
Especially if
remember
it's
that.
like
I've
something you don't
worked.
want to do for real,
Mm-hmm. I've worked
you
at
might
like
just want
catering
to
stuff before, like years ago, and
yeah.
other stuff like the button ups and like this, like you had to go to like a specific uniform store to get the special pants or whatever, and it's like I don't want to buy this. Like let me just
Right.
wear, So I totally get that. Yep, and it'll be cheap. So no, I
No, it
totally understand
totally
that.
adds up.
I was thinking about this because I would like our hostesses to have be more like uniform. And I feel like other
Mhm.
places, like I would love to for them. Like we have a hostess, and I love the way she dresses. She always wears like a simple, cute dress, and she wears sneakers with it, like Nike Blazers, like nothing crazy or
Mhm.
whatever sneaker. And she's always comfortable. It's like long enough and cool. So I'm like, dang, I wish that all I would love to, like, you can go to Ross, DD's, whatever, and buy just a bunch of
Mhm.
black dresses, bunch of different
Mhm.
sizes, have at it, and like bring them in and try it on, pick up what you want. These are your work dresses.
Mhm.
Filter them out. We don't really have anyone that's like full time. They all work like 2 days or
Yeah.
whatever. Filter them out, or if you have some black dresses that you got at home, add those in or whatever. Like just like when you
Mhm.
said starting them on their way, made me think of that. Just so it's like, all right, cool, all easy. I just gotta wear all black, whatever shoe you want to wear.
Mhm.
Simple. Or, just to however have something so there's just less room for error of like
Yeah,
people
for
just
sure.
thinking like, because I had a girl this weekend also, white pants, totally see through. And it's like, have the private conversation with her. And it's just so funny because she immediately was like, you mean my tattoo? It's like, like if you can see your tattoo that's on your leg, and
Mhm.
like, I didn't even say that because I didn't even see it, then that your pants are see through. Like,
Right. Right.
come on. Like, like we have to like make sure that we're professional. So it's just, and then also too, of like, I'm telling them if you're going to wear a short, top needs to be loose blousy. We can't have short and then you got a little crop tight top. Like we got to have some balance
Yeah.
of everything because it's a restaurant. It's not
Yeah.
like you look like you're hanging out with your friends and you're going to the beach or something
Right.
like that. Like we're not at the beach. It's not
Mhm.
really, it's not the vibe of our restaurant. So
I found that like
um
taking photos, like for instance, like all the uniforms that are nice and right that you like, take a photo of
mhm
those, get them printed out, and like post them like wherever you guys post the schedules and stuff. As like a little
mhm
reminder, or you can do like a little Word document with it. I find that like those example pieces,
mhm
whereas really it's like because it's like, oh, people will be like, oh, well, you said, but it's like, you know what, I actually gave a visual too. So it
mhm
just really, unfortunately, it's just those taking those extra steps. But like if they have something to look at, like, okay, well, I could do this and I could do that, or you know what, let me just wear what's on this paper because it's clearly visual now.
mhm
And it's like a reminder, or it's like, when you're having your pre-shift, like it's asking those questions for, I don't know, bring, snack or something like that. Like, hey, answer who could tell me da 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 da. So it's like you're making them have to answer or tell you, a scenario or the right uniform or what part of uniform, and then there's like a reward
mhm
because sometimes it's also a competition. Like we think that we know what it is, but for us, like they don't really care. But for their colleague, for their colleagues and who they're working with, they might care how they're being seen if it's
mhm
being called out. And so it's like, oh, you don't
mhm
know nothing, or they might start to feel away, and they're like, okay, well, let me step my game up. Like I ain't trying to look like
mhm
I'm not knowledgeable, or I don't got my stuff together,
mhm
or and like
no, it's
sometimes
true.
it's like very helpful when you like it's kind of like an ego thing, but you're kind of like, I mean, what are you really doing? Can someone tell me, hey, Vanessa, can you tell me what is our standard of a uniform every day? Just call them out. You saw Vanessa looking over and like, oh, what's our standard? You're like, oh, are you missing something? And like being able to just really like put it in the forefront, more of a conversation and fun and light, but it's still like reminding them like, yo, you know what? I need to really work on my knowledge because I'm getting called out. Hey, what is the wine of the week? What
mhm
can you tell me where that wine is from again? What city?
mhm
And they're like,
mhm
oh, actually it's California. So like, so today, or by tomorrow, make sure you know all your cities or something where all the wine come from.
yeah
It's those little
mhm
little pieces. I have worked at a lot of places, though, I'm not gonna lie, it's not for me, but I worked at a lot of places where the menu was so intense and I just mentally couldn't retain it all, just
mhm
because of where I was in my life. So but if people choose to work at those places, like once I realized it was intense, it was probably almost out for me, just
Mhm.
because of the intensity. But like it's like you say, you applied, you got the job, now what are you going to do with it? So it's like you don't have a choice but to learn. For me, my brain does, I don't want 85 years on tap. I
Yeah.
don't want 85 wines. I don't want that. And it's
Yeah, I
just no
wouldn't
amount of
want that
money for
either.
that. It's no amount of money. There's just no amount of
Uh-uh.
money that I want that. It's too much knowledge. Now, if that was all I did for a living, sure, but I'm not a person that's just really just did one thing at a time. So it doesn't work for my brain cells
Yeah.
for
Yeah. No,
sure.
I do that. We have like our lineup sheets, and I'll mess
Hmm.
stuff up on purpose, or I'll just like I'm filling it out, and I'm like, "What are the oysters?" Like, I'm like, "Oh, they're oh no," they'll like correct me or whatever, or I'm just asking because I'm like checking their knowledge, making sure they're up on it. But yeah, we love to. I mean, we really don't have a choice but to improve and be better, and it's just small things that will make big differences. Is what I
Hmm.
keep trying to stress to them. And I always make sure, and I'm always super positive and always give on the spot, like, great job. Okay, I see you. Like, if they're selling like bottles of wine or just whatever, anything positive or anything that I see them doing, I'm always super vocal in the moment and letting them
Hmm.
know as well. But you're going to know where we have opportunities too, because it's just the balance of it all. But we
It's the
gonna get through.
balance.
We gonna get through this thing. Ain't no thing.
Absolutely. Life is all about balance and just taking prioritizing and taking real consideration of whatever it is that you do. If you don't like your job,
Mm-hmm.
if you ain't feeling it, if you don't want to be bothered, figure it out. Find a new job. I think that's the only other way. Like you can't live life like with the I don't give a F attitude. You can when you're doing things on your own, but like when you work
Right.
for someone else, you just can't. You have to care when that includes work, relationships, any friends. It's like no, like you cannot care about like maybe how actions may turn treat you, but you have to care about whatever the entity is that you're doing.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
like get
Mm-hmm.
over it.
Yeah. 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 That's totally right.
Like figure it out, y'all. Let's kidding.
Uh-huh. Like,
Um,
no, it was just funny because during like Saturday when like the guy in the kitchen was upset or whatever, like there's a few people that came down and told me they're like, he's still like running off at the mouth, but like da da da. I'm like, I don't care. Like I don't really that has nothing to do with me. If
mhm,
he's the only thing I care about is making the food for the guests, which he is doing. So
mhm.
all the other stuff, not my problem. Like, yeah, not going into that. So he's doing his job.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just like, and that's a reminder to the people like, hey, I understand what you're saying. I would really just love for us to just focus on um what we need to focus on. I know that this happened and I appreciate you noticing that, but right now I just want you to focus on your tables, focus on getting all the food in, and I'm gonna handle the rest. Let's change the focus here. And it sucks. Like I think that people don't understand that um, sometimes while companies won't grow is because like you don't have a team that can grow because they're still focusing on the same repeat issue or whatever that may mean. Like you can't grow if you can't get past certain situations. There's just no way
Right.
around it. Like if you're still focusing on uniforms and issues and BS, like how can you move forward to make more money? You just can't because you can't overcome the poor foundation. And that's really what it
Mm-hmm.
boils down to is like the whoever owns the company, the organization is supposed to always make sure that those fundamentals are in line. Yes, you can hire people to help you, but they have to be the ones to kind of drive it home. And like
Mm-hmm.
it's come to the point where sometimes we've had like, stakeholders and managers and CEOs in there to also drive that support because sometimes they don't respect who's hired, but they will respect that hired person because they think whatever it is that they think.
Mm-hmm.
Even though that person really don't care about you. If we're
Yeah.
just being honest, like they
Keeping it
don't
funky. Mm-hmm.
care about you like at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just What would that be? Who do they care about? They care about their bottom line, and you're just a
Yeah, they
number.
care about that paper. Like, yeah, they care
Yeah.
about the bottom line. They're all in the numbers. Like, yes, yep. That's
Yes.
but rightfully so. Like, not that saying that you shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? There's like that balance, but that's their number one thing because that's why they hire other people to be that wager, be that person who takes care of the people that have that issue. But unfortunately, there are those people who just they want to be direct. They want to be besties with those people, with the CEO. They want to like
Mm-hmm.
get in good with
Mm-hmm.
them. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let
Yep.
me
Yep.
just
Yep.
say, like, ass kissing is for the weak.
Yeah, and that's what
It's
it
for the
that's what it's
weak.
exposing, the weak people. Like
Mm-hmm.
the
That's
weak
what exactly what
people.
it is. It's because you talk more than you do.
Yep.
Because I'm not a good ass kisser. I'm actually horrible with it, just like I'm horrible at flirting. Because that's kind of
Mhm.
almost like it just depends.
Yeah,
If
I feel
if
you.
it's not giving natural, then I'm just not gonna be good at it. Like if I gotta think about it, it's just not where it's at. I'm not a flirter because I just
Hmm.
feel like my aura, my vibe, my energy, everything I portray is everything that needs to be. But if you're not in the right space to receive it, you're not gonna understand, and that's
Right.
okay. Like
Hmm.
period. If I don't have to kiss ass, I get opportunities and I get to do things because they just see how dope I am naturally. Like it just comes. Like either you win it or not. Because if you're kissing ass, it's most likely you're trying to compensate for something else. I don't have small balls. I have big balls, but my balls are sitting up, percolated. They're not sagging. They're not asking for attention. They're just percolating
Hmm.
wherever they are, and it's just deciding if I decide to shimmy it on somebody or not. Like,
Wow.
don't let, So it's like some people are only have one ball and they trying to get the other one. I have both, but I'm just letting them do what they need to do. I don't want them to sag because I'm stressed out. Let's
See,
keep it
no
up.
stress. Life of ease. Okay, stress be doing bad things to you. You will have saggy balls.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Life is not to be stressed. It's only to be great.
That's
Only
funny.
to be
Don't
great.
stress. You'll have saggy balls.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Hmm.
There's always
On
some
that
light in the
note,
situation.
um, yes, I feel like I'm going to like last night I was putting Jonah to bed and I just like randomly thinking about stuff that happened at work and I was just laughing because sometimes in the moment you can't like it's just happening and you just keep moving and you whatever. And I just was laughing and Jonah was like, "Why are you laughing?" Because just some things are just so ridiculous or whatever. You can't just react in that moment. So it's just never a dull moment when working with certain people and places. So, yep, just like Erin said, you just gotta laugh in the midst of all the shenanigans that could be happening around you. So,
Yeah, find the
yeah.
joy.
Hmm.
I think it's just super important to find the joy in anything and even in the chaos and even in the badness. Like
Hmm.
there's something to be grateful for and live in that grateful. I'm not saying it's for easy. I'm not saying you're going to wake up grateful. No, you may have to remind yourself 85,000 times. Yes, yes, yes. However, just do it. Like
Yeah.
Nike said, just do it. If you could put them Nikes on and walk outside to appease everybody else, and you could put them Nikes on for you to know that you can do it.
I started
Period.
walking. We were right by the water, so I just started like taking like kind of like after the dinner rush or whatever, just like walking for a few minutes. Just take some time for myself because you don't really get breaks like that. Like
Yeah.
you think you'll get a break, someone coming in there asking you a question, and you know it just you really don't have time to yourself. But just I've been doing that this weekend, just walking, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10, and just easily coming right back and getting right back into it. So yeah, so that's been helping me a lot. Just clear my energy, reset, and then come back refreshed and ready to go.
Yeah. Ready to go. Reset. So I hope this is a reset for you guys. every time that you listen to our podcast, we want to make sure that we give you knowledge, a good laugh, and some ways to self-care and be your best self. So hospitality,
Mm-hmm.
that's what it's about. It's serving others and making sure that you're creating a memorable experience. So I hope that you guys receive that with us because we do it with our pure hearts and minds and intentions. And if you are working on being your best self, think about it. Just think first. Think about how you want to be great. Maybe write it down and maybe you'll come. I'm not saying it's going to be overnight, but like y'all got to start trying to put a little bit of action. Like if you real spicy all the time and you're really not trying to do better, like you're that's just what it's going to be. So you have to like elevate.
Yep.
Write it down, y'all. Like, I want to be nice today. I want to be nice today. Write it down 5 times. I want to be nice today. Before you know it, you might just be a little nice today. I'm saying, you just don't know. You just don't know.
Because
You just
sometimes
don't
that's
know.
how it is. Like like manifesting and affirmations. It's happened to me so many times where I'm like, I'll look around, I'm like, oh my god, like this is what I like. I've been talking about. You don't something. You're so in the hustle and bustle. You don't even realize, like, dang, this is happening. Like just like it
Mm-hmm.
just. But you have to do the work, small things, like those small things every day, and it won't be every day. I'm trying to stay consistent with a schedule, and some days I'm on point. Some days I might fall off a little here, but I'm like, at least I started, and that's my intention. Tomorrow will be better. So
Mm-hmm.
that's it. Just holding
Yeah, for
yourself
sure.
accountable in just small ways and giving yourself that grace. So,
Yeah,
yep.
gotta give yourself grace. I had big plans for me waking up early today and doing all this, but I was tired. And it was
Hmm.
like, do I listen to my body that I'm tired, or do I try to force myself to do something that I'm really not into and I might not give it my all? You know
Right.
what? I'm gonna slow down, reset, figure out what I need to like figure out what that is. Because I don't know. Let me
Hmm.
figure it out what it is, and then it's gonna work out the way it needs to work out. I'm not gonna force it
Hmm.
because I'm not there. You have to listen to your body sometimes. Like actually, I was listening to something the other day of like how important rest is, and how important just slowing down is. As much as we want to move fast, as much as we want to do something, depending on what you ask for and you're manifesting, it does call you to slow down. And what I've asked for in manifestation is so much bigger than myself that it takes a lot of my energy, like a
Hmm.
lot, and I can't help that. But that's what I asked for. So it's either I'm going to balance that energy out so I can get my wish fulfillment, or I'm going to keep pushing myself and still be in a rat race trying to get there.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's your choice, y'all. Life is your choice. Who would have thought? It's just so interesting that we have choices in life. It's just
Is that the
beautiful.
name of the
Choices. You have choices. You have choices.
Have you ever done, and you probably have, is it called Cycle Bar?
Soul Cycle, like the cycling.
Yeah, it's like it's just like that. I think it's like Soul Cycle, but it's just called something else, maybe Cycle Bar or something like to that nature. But
I
have you
don't
done that?
know. I've done the cycling classes and they have a lot
Yeah.
of different like names for it. Like this one, I've done
Uh-huh.
Soul Cycle, but I did what is the name of it? Dang it. I don't even remember the name of it. But it was like cycling, but we used weights and stuff
Mm-hmm.
while cycling. But yeah.
Did you
Actually
like
have
it?
love it. I love cycling. I
Okay.
actually
I want to
started
try
cycling
it.
after that. I love
Yeah.
cycling.
I found a place in Mount Pleasant and the classes, like the prices are really good. I don't know why I just always assume that it's like crazy, like I don't know, super expensive. But I'm gonna try it. And of course, like I know you said before, like those type of classes, the first one's free or whatever. But
Hmm.
just like their little like packages weren't even that bad. So I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, I love it. I love cycling. I want to try Pilates, so that's what's something I'm going to be trying to
Yeah.
do within the next month.
Mm-hmm.
Just as like that's the one workout I haven't really ever tried.
Ooh, that would be
So
fun. I wonder if they have a beginner class. That'd be a fun group activity to do when we go there. I don't know if they have it on a Saturday, but I'd be down to try some Pilates.
yeah, I'm always down
Yeah.
for a good little stretchy stretch.
Yeah.
So
Like
yeah,
something active, a fun active activity too.
yeah, which I've already picked an active activity.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay, okay.
but the stretching might help with it.
Yeah.
But because yeah, we're gonna do one pretty active-ish thing. I hope the weather's good, so that's just gonna kind of depend on that weather, but
Or that's a good
it'll be
idea
good.
for like your friends. Like instead of, I mean, you can still go out, drink and party and
Mm-hmm.
whatever, but like that's something to get some girlfriends, like, and go do a class.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be fun. Do something a little different.
Yeah, you should definitely have a balance. Have a
Hmm.
balance. That's just what life's all about. I'm getting to the point where like the gym is like I'm not really big. I'm not feeling the gym as much, so that's why I want to try like doing something different so it can just keep the creative flow because after a while of
Hmm.
doing the same thing over and over, it's just not fun and I don't like to just be confined all the time. So
Hmm.
I've been going to the park and just running. My run game is getting better.
That's
Better watch
good.
out, y'all. Cause, but I like it. It's the time goes by so fast when you're just
Hmm.
out in nature. You don't have to look at everybody lifting weights. You don't gotta wait for the weight. You
Yep.
know, it's just way easier sometimes. So, yeah, it's fun.
Hmm. Love
So,
that.
what work activity are you guys going to incorporate into your daily routine this month? What workout routine? It could be walking, it could
Ooh.
be jogging, it could be cycling, it could be yoga, it could just be stretching, it could be just, hey, I'm gonna attempt to go to the gym. I mean, what is it gonna be? Because if you ain't going at all, I think the first step is just try.
Yep.
That's it.
That's just all
Period. Just
here. Yeah,
try.
walk around your neighborhood. Walk around like 15, like start 15, 20.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a
Start with
little
that.
store or something that's by your house. I used to do this when I lived close to like, dang, I can't remember, like maybe it was like a Zaxby's or something. Like you could walk. So if we ever did get it, since it's fast food, we'll walk to get it and walk
Mm-hmm.
back. Like make
Yeah.
something out of it. Or like, if you got, sometimes you got a little corner store or gas station that's, by your place. Go walk, go walk there. Ain't nothing to it. You might meet somebody on the way, child. If you're single, you never
Yeah.
know who will be out there.
I walked to the store yesterday and it's like 112 plus, and I've walked to the store plenty of times. It was the hardest walk I've ever done. It was so intense. Like I was like, whew. I was going through it, y'all. I was like, man, this is the hardest walk I've ever been. I've gone here a gazillion times. Like, but it was
The
just the heat. Like it was beyond. It was just beyond. Like it
heat
was.
is
It was beyond what it
it's
ever should have
intense.
been. So, but I made it. Drank a lot of
Hmm.
water when I came in, but I was like, you know what? Give yourself credit because that was a lot. Like that was
And
it
you feel
was death.
accomplished.
Yeah, it was like I could have
Yeah.
died on the street, but I didn't.
We're
From a
happy you
heat
did not.
stroke.
Yes,
But I
we're happy you
didn't.
did
But I
not
didn't.
dry. Stay hydrated, folks.
Yes. Absolutely. Stay hydrated. Follow Hospitality Queens podcast on Instagram and Facebook. And no, were we on Facebook? No, TikTok. What is that? I'm
I
like,
was like,
Facebook.
ooh,
I've never.
that
We
would
need to
be Aaron's
do.
department because
Yeah, I will. I keep saying the Facebook. I'm horrible with
it's
just
manifesting.
caring about you guys on those platforms. But you know where to find me if
I was
you
about to say,
really
you
can.
know where to come at when you want to,
Yeah,
So,
but yeah, we might throw a link up there. I'd be forgetting to be honest. It's like Facebook is just not my vibe. Instagram's a little bit more like quicker. I think Facebook. I'm sorry, this is
we
probably
need
gonna
like
sound a little
a
offensive, but sometimes Facebook people be having a lot more time on their hands
yes.
and it's a lot of dialogue. I can't handle it. I can't
We
handle
need
the
an
dialogue.
auntie, a true auntie, to run our Facebook. This shit'll be
Yeah,
popping. It'll be
yeah, for
popping.
sure, for sure. Like to keep the dialogue because I don't have the
Uh-huh.
energy for that kind of brain
Hmm.
power. I just don't got it. I don't have it. I don't have it. I just it's
It's
insane.
just
Like
it's
I'm
too
in.
much. The thing of you have to have a separate alone to have you have to have a separate app to have a messenger is beyond
Oh,
me.
it's a lot. Yeah.
Why? Like technology is supposed to make things simple, like way more simple. Now we have two apps for one app to message. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's because it's way too complex now. It just needs to be a little bit more, a little easier. But we'll see.
Mm.
By the end of the year, you'll get that little link inkling for sure. But until then, I don't know what to say. I don't know
Facebook
what to say.
and your favorite streaming platform.
Yeah,
Suffice.
so until then, I don't know. I don't know. Don't know what to tell you. But
That's funny. So you can follow me on Instagram at Whitney White One, and you can shop my store on Instagram or on Facebook at Shop 2230.
yes, you can follow me, Get Toned with E on Instagram, Get Toned Wellness for all your wellness needs. And keep your vibrations really, really high. Stay positive and have an amazing week. And until next time.